In a major blow to Israel's strategy in Gaza, Yasser Abu Shabab, a key militia leader backed by Israel, has been confirmed dead, marking a dramatic shift in the fragile power balance on the ground. His death is widely viewed as a significant setback to Israel's ongoing effort to cultivate Palestinian proxy forces that could challenge Hamas and help stabilize areas under Israeli control. Shabab, a prominent Bedouin tribal leader operating within the Israeli-held zone, reportedly succumbed to severe wounds sustained during violent clashes that erupted earlier in the week. While the precise moment of his passing remains uncertain, sources suggest that his death likely occurred sometime within the last 48 hours during heightened tensions in the area. According to multiple reports, Abu Shabab suffered critical injuries during a confrontation that broke out after he allegedly refused to release a hostage his fighters had captured. He was the commanding figure of the Popular Forces, the largest and most organized militia among several groups in Gaza that received direct backing and support from Israel. The Popular Forces had long benefited from Israeli assistance, which was part of a larger and controversial Israeli strategy aimed at weakening Hamas' influence in multiple Gaza neighborhoods. Tensions escalated when relatives of the hostage stormed the Popular Forces base, triggering a fierce confrontation that left casualties on both sides and deepened local divisions. The militia later confirmed that Abu Shabab died from a gunshot wound he sustained while attempting to personally intervene in a volatile family dispute that spiraled into violence. Hamas has publicly denied any role in Shabab's killing, despite having previously denounced him as an Israeli collaborator and a direct threat to their authority in Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has earlier acknowledged that Israel has been arming and supporting select anti-Hamas factions inside Gaza to counter the group's dominance. However, critics argue that these Israeli-backed groups lack political legitimacy and cannot realistically replace Hamas as a governing authority in the territory's complex power structure. Experts warn that Abu Shabab's death highlights the inherent dangers and unintended consequences of Israel relying on local militias to enforce control and challenge Hamas. In recent months, several additional anti-Hamas factions have surfaced across Israeli-controlled zones in Gaza, each attempting to carve out influence amid shifting loyalties. His sudden death may create uncertainty among these groups, raising serious questions about their safety, their future, and their capability to stand up to Hamas' entrenched power. Even after the US-backed ceasefire came into effect in October, Abu Shabab's fighters continued operating on the ground, pushing ahead with their missions despite international pressure. In November, his forces carried out aggressive security sweeps in Rafah, targeting suspected Hamas fighters and asserting their presence in increasingly volatile neighborhoods. Israeli security services often relied on figures like Shabab after attempts to form broader anti-Hamas coalitions repeatedly failed to gain traction or maintain cohesion. The Popular Forces were also engaged in coordinating with Israeli troops around key aid distribution points in Gaza, managing crowds and maintaining control in sensitive zones. Ultimately, Abu Shabab's death underscores the tangled web of local rivalries, Israeli interventions, and international stakes that continue to define Gaza's deeply fractured landscape.